Welcome back to the True Blue Riffcast, sponsored today by Uncle Chico's Carnival.
Sorry.
If you don't know what that is, you'll find out in a little bit. I'm Jeremy, joined as always.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm coming to you live from Pirates World. Yes, they're our sponsor as well, I suppose.
All these really crappy little fairs and amusement parks. So, Dave, how's it going?
It's going okay. It's really hot here this week, man. It's has it been scorching in Michigan? It's been scorching here in Utah. I got a freaking sunburn.
Yes, it's been in the mid-90s the last few days. Not fun. I mean, unless you're inside in air conditioning, you know.
I suppose people get that at their workplace. I don't have a traditional workplace. It's me sitting in front of my computer all day is my work. Which I guess is everybody else's work, but, you know, they have to work for other people. I have to work for myself.
And you are a damn demanding boss.
I sure am. I want to go for a walk right now. I suppose I'll go for a walk. I don't know. I got lots to do. Will I get yelled at? Oh, right. Yeah, anyway. So, yeah. Everybody probably hates me now.
Only a few of us. No, I'm kidding.
If you don't hate me now, you'll hate me later. I know some of us will. Because I'm going to rub something in. It's going to be great.
Well, normally this is where we would throw it to headlines, but it's the week after Comic-Con, so there's not really a whole lot movie news-wise or anything like that, unless I missed something. I don't know. But as far as the weekend box office, The Lion King continues to dominate, made another $75.5 million.
Oh, jeez.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the new Tarantino movie, had a decent opening with $40.3 million. And Spider-Man Far From Home, still in third place, and it has crossed the $1 billion mark worldwide, which is good news because that means that full creative control will not be returning to Sony just yet.
I don't know about that. I mean, that's I didn't know that until you told me. I think it was on this podcast when you told me that if they don't do $1 billion in the box office, that Sony gets the rights back. You know, and I like The Amazing Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, it wasn't that great, but I didn't think it was a franchise killer. But I think that if it went back to Sony, I think if we got a fourth Spider-Man, it's dead after that, you know. But it's I think they're doing good things. I mean, I used to be 2 years ago. I was #not my Spider-Man because I love The Amazing Spider-Man because the 2012 movie made me feel all the feels, right? I just think they didn't give The Amazing Spider-Man that series. I felt it should have been given a chance to redeem itself, but hey, we have this now. So
yeah, but I'm pretty happy with what we have. But we do have a lot to talk about today. At least we've got one movie to really take a deep dive into. So let's get into our short reviews of RiffTrax Shorts.
Yes!
For today's short reviews of RiffTrax Shorts, we're going to be taking a look at Why Doesn't Cathy Eat Breakfast and Petaluma Chicken.
Wait, what?
Yes, Why Doesn't Cathy Eat Breakfast and Petaluma Chicken.
Why is that any of our damn business?
Well, we'll get into that in a second, Dave, if you keep your pants on. Sorry. Yes.
Hey, wait, hang on. I want to interrupt you a third time.
What?
I forgot. Anyway, sorry, what?
Okay.
This is what I'm like all the time, everybody.
Yeah. Why Doesn't Cathy Eat Breakfast? Petaluma Chicken was released March 6th, 2008.
Woo!
So we're going way back once again. This RiffTrax short is special for multiple reasons. The most obvious being the fact that it's actually two shorts together. And this was the first time they've done it, not the last time they've done it, but we'll save that for another episode. The first part of this is called Why Doesn't Cathy Eat Breakfast? In this short, we're watching Cathy, a girl of around 12 or so, getting ready for her day. A narrator starts asking her questions about why she doesn't eat breakfast, and he's apparently way off base with all of his assumptions. She just answers no to everything. He asks every question that an adult would ask a kid as to why they're not eating something. But we get absolutely zero idea as to why she doesn't eat breakfast, and then she leaves out the door to go to school. And that's the end.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that's the end of the first part. I'm assuming it's supposed to be one of those, like, stop the projector here and have a discussion about what the class thinks or whatever.
Same bat time. Something.
Yes.
It's like, okay.
But then the drugs kick in and Petaluma Chicken starts up. This is one of the weirdest shorts that they've done. Still to this day, it's one of the weirdest shorts. It's young women from around the country gathering around to make a giant omelet. But how do they accomplish this task? Part of it involves calisthenics in a comically oversized frying pan that they then use to cook the omelet in. I'm sure this awakened a fetish in at least one person who watched it. But even if the riffing on this combo platter wasn't hilarious, it would still be an essential purchase simply for how bizarre it turned out to be. That being said, the riffing in both halves of this short is marvelous. The confusion that they show at the end of the first half that leads into the confusion over the entirety of the second half is perfect. Why Doesn't Cathy Eat Breakfast? Petaluma Chicken gets 5 out of 5 and is an essential purchase.
Wow. So this is from 2008. I might have to go get this. Is it one of them I'm going to get it anyway. Is it like one of them $1 ones?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's weird. So you're saying that the first short just trails off into nothing.
Yeah. The girl leaves her apartment and goes to school and
that's it.
And that's it. And it just stops. And then the next one just starts.
Wow.
So yeah, Dave, if you haven't seen it yet,
I haven't seen it. Yeah, I'll check it out.
It's 2 shorts, but it's still not a very long thing. I think it's maybe 10 minutes tops.
Yeah, it's definitely only $1 then if it's like only 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's not like setting up a room where it's half an hour and it feels like 3 days. It's actually 8 minutes and 5 seconds long. So.
Oh wow! You want to know what short that goes by? I think it's like an extra $1 or something like that. It's something I know. Seatbelts, the life-saving habit. That thing is 15 to 20 minutes long. But the thing is, you don't even realize how long it is because whenever I watch that one, I'm just so engrossed in it, just because I just love it. I just love everything about it so much.
It's like a car crash. You can't help but watch it because it's all about car crashes.
Yeah, it is all about car crashes.
So
and about ethnic whenever an ethnic person comes onto the screen, it changes to meet their ethnicity. There's
definitely some stereotyping going on.
Like a wow.
But we'll get into that short. Again, that's a subject for another podcast.
Aww.
Right now, though, we're going to go from the shorts to the not-so-shorts, and we're going to take a look at our first VOD of the day. This is the brand new release from RiffTrax Presents, Bridget Mary Jo, doing the 1946 film Fear.
Now, I have a confession to make. I haven't had time to watch this one yet.
What?
I'm terrible. I'm a terrible, terrible fan. I'm going to knock me down to... Well, I mean, I'm still number 1. But, yeah, but Jeremy, you have watched it. So
yes,
I will allow you to take the lead on it. I will graciously do that.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. Okay, so it's from 1946. You know that the name of the movie is Fear. What do you think it's about?
46. So it's after Double Indemnity. So, and with a single word like fear, it sounds like it's some noir, like Detour or something like that. So I'm guessing hard-boiled detective, some kind of Bogart wannabe, something like that. Some woman comes in, makes some, very 40s appropriate sexual advance or like insinuation or some crap like that. Then he goes out and realizes that the woman that he's working for is a horrible person and is either setting him up to murder somebody or setting him up to be murdered to further another murder or crime of some fashion. And everything goes to crap, and Bogart ends up killing the woman and some other, and then he gets a Maltese statue falcon, and the end.
Well, you're wrong.
Ah, dang it. That was just...
You were right on one part of it. It is kind of a film noir thing.
Okay.
But no, this movie is about Larry Crane, a college student who just found out that he lost his scholarship. He's not going to get any more money to go to school right before the beginning of his senior year of college.
And it's called Fear?
And it's called Fear.
What kind of crap is
just
this?
Just listen, okay?
Okay.
It will make sense. Well, it kind of will make sense.
Okay.
So yeah, it's about Larry. He loses his money right before his senior year starts. So he's desperate at this point because he spent 3 years in school and he needs to finish it up. And so he starts pawning stuff off to his Professor Stanley, who's a little shifty, and he buys items from students who need money, even though he's not a licensed pawnbroker and he shouldn't be doing that. But he sells his watch that his dad gave him when he was 15. And
he's what, 22?
He's supposed to be. He looks more like he's 37, but he gets $10 for it, minus $2 for the money that he still owed on the last item that he pawned off. And so he decides that he's going to go to dinner. And he goes to the local diner, Doc's Place, I think it was called, something like that. And he hears some of the other college students in there, and they're talking about how if they had the chance, they would off the guy and steal his money. So he gets this idea in his head that he's going to go off the professor and steal his money. This guy who's acting as a pawnbroker, he's going to go kill the pawnbroker, steal his money. If anybody is familiar with classic literature, they probably got it by now. But this is a very loose adaptation of Crime and Punishment.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with the movie or the book Crime and Punishment, the movie, it's about a guy who kills a pawnbroker because he's desperate for money, and he pretty much got away with it. But then he starts becoming racked with guilt and paranoid about everything. So you kind of
sounds like the Telltale Heart.
Yeah, kind of. So you see where this story is heading.
Yeah.
He goes back to his place. He kind of chilling out for a little bit. Then he decides, all right, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go kill this guy. So he goes to the professor's apartment building, and he goes up and he sees a guy painting a room, and he sneaks past him, goes up the next flight of stairs, goes to the professor's apartment. He lets him in because he tells him he's got something else to sell him, and he's got this package, and it's wrapped up with a ton of string, so it's taking him forever to unwrap it. And Larry's over and he grabs the poker for the fireplace and he smacks him in the head and kills him. And he gets the lockbox out of his bedroom because he had his safe open for whatever reason. And he opens the box, and then a couple more students show up at the door, and they're like, "Oh, maybe
kill him too."
And,
okay.
And he's not answering the door. So they're like, "Well, maybe he fell asleep." And they're like, "No, the lights are on. Something's going on. Let's go get the landlord." So they go downstairs, and of course Larry overhears them saying this stuff, and so he makes a hasty retreat. Unfortunately, he forgets to take the money, and he locks the door behind him.
Dumbass. So he just left the crime scene and he locked himself out without anything.
Yeah. He goes down, and they start coming up the other stairs, so he runs into the room that has been freshly painted. At this point, I'm starting to feel like this movie is supposed to be a comedy because it's kind of wacky at this point. He comes out, he's got paint all over the sleeve of his suit, and he goes back home, and the next day he wakes up and there's a police officer there to get him to go take him to go talk to the captain down at the police station. And he gets there and he's like, well, as you may have heard, Professor Stanley had died the other night. And he's like, no, I didn't hear that. And he's like, well, it was in yesterday's paper. He's like, what are you talking about? Today's Thursday. And he's like, no, today's Friday. And so he like missed the whole day. So I don't know if he like slept through it. They never really touch on that part of it as to why that happened. But all that they wanted him for was to return his watch to him, because as the professor was being an illegal pawnbroker, he had no right to keep it. So he just got it back. And then he got back and he opened up a letter, and it was a check for $1,000 from some paper that published an article that he wrote, because he had been writing articles and sending them out and never hearing anything back. He was freelancing.
Ah, yeah.
He just got paid just like that.
Because it happens. It does happen like that, guys. It really does. That's not a lie. That's not an exaggeration. Anyway,
he goes back to the diner, and the girl that he helped out the day before, I realize I skipped over this part, but the day before, or I guess 2 days before, when he was there was a girl who bought a coffee or something, and she didn't have her dollar in her purse that she thought she did, and so he helped her out. But I got to get back to that in a minute, because there's a thing that Mary Jo and Bridget did that I want to fill you guys in on, because it was amazingly funny to me. But he's going through now, and the police keep questioning him about stuff, and he's getting away with it still. The police are questioning him. He's starting to feel more and more guilty about it, and he starts seeing things that everything's talking about death. Death is everywhere. He goes to, and I kid you not, he goes to a restaurant called the Seahawk, and he sees a magic show on stage where the assistant comes out, and she lays down on this table with a basket under her head, and the magician has a sword, a big sword, and he's showing how sharp it is by cutting through what looked like a block of styrofoam or something. And he covers her up with a blanket. He stands behind her, and he cuts her head off with the sword. And then he gets up and leaves. Larry gets up and leaves. So we don't even see what the result of the magic trick was. Thanks, movie. That's going to haunt me forever. The police finally figure out that it's him. And so he's going to take off with his girlfriend. And he's meeting up with her, and they're at a street crossing, and the sign changes to walk, and he starts going across the street, and he gets hit by a car and dies.
But what?
And then he wakes up on his couch.
No.
Because when he went home the first night, after he heard the guys talking about taking out the professor, he fell asleep, and the whole thing was a dream. And then it gets even better.
What? How?
The professor shows up at his apartment, and he tells him, you seem like somebody who really is in dire need of money here. So here's $150, and oh, by the way, you got some memorial scholarship for $1,500.
What?
And then he goes out in the hallway, and the girl that he helped at the diner the day before is moving into one of the little squalor apartments there next to him. And they agree to go out on a date. And that's the end of the movie.
So he kills a man in the movie. It was a dream. But as far as from like a narrative perspective, the audience has kind of grown to not like this guy because, for all we know, he murdered a guy. So it's kind of hard to let go of.
There is another reason to really not like this guy. You remember that article that I mentioned that he got paid for?
Yeah.
The police captain, is talking to him about that article because he read it, and it's about how Larry believes that some people are indeed above the law. And he gives this example. He says that Thomas Edison, if he would have had to have electrocuted any number of people, one person, hundreds of people,
or an elephant,
Yeah, I was really expecting him to bring up Topsy. I don't know why, but I was really expecting it. It didn't happen, but he said that he should have been allowed to eliminate those people if it would have helped him to make the discoveries that he did about electricity.
Yeah, and all the people whose research he stole, and all the and his war with Tesla and destroying his research and all that.
Yeah, that's the wonderfulness that was Fear.
Fear.
But Bridget and Mary Jo really bring some good heat to this one with the riffs. There was one line that I physically reacted to, because I cringed, I physically they were asking. One of the students was asking Larry what he was going to do now that he didn't have his money for school, and one of the ladies said, "Call Lori Loughlin." Yeah. I laughed really hard, but I kind of went at the same time, It was perfect.
You sent me a message earlier today telling me that Lori Loughlin, and you didn't know that I hadn't seen it yet. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about?
Well, there's context for you on that one, Dave.
My gosh, I have to watch this now.
But I want to go back to the girl at the diner. Right before Larry helped her, she started digging through her purse, looking for this dollar that she supposedly had. And the lady started listing off different things as she's pulling stuff out of her purse. And I want to go through this list because I really enjoyed the list.
Why was she listing these things?
Well, this was Bridget and Mary Jo listing.
Okay. All right.
Carmex, Skittles, a taser, a backup taser, a monkey paw with one finger left, a hanky, a smashed Junior Mint, a parking ticket, a Diva cup, an iPod Nano, and a Weight Watchers protein bar. I enjoy that. I am not going to explain that one to you, Dave. You can do your research on that one.
Hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, I live in the same world as you guys do. So, I mean, we're going to Google it right now. And if I'm disgusted, I'm going to blame you.
Live reaction to Dave discovering.
Oh, God! Oh, yeah. You could have just said that. That is gross.
You're welcome. And so now, listeners, if you don't know what a Diva cup is, you now know not to Google it.
Oh my God.
I mean, if you're a guy, don't Google it.
Ugh.
Women, hey, if that's what you want to use, whatever. I've got absolutely no say in that department, so I'm not even going to pretend. But yeah,
I had the same reaction to that as I did to gamer girl bathwater.
Well, that's bad for everybody, but there's some really good stuff in here. Of course, they make a joke about Larry, the actor. Peter Cookson looks an awful lot like Kyle MacLachlan from Twin Peaks and such. And I was hoping that they would mention that, and they did. And one other little tidbit of information: the girl that he meets in the diner, was played by Anne Gwynn, who is Chris Pine's grandmother.
Woo,
Newkirk. I thought it was interesting. But yeah, this was an extremely solid riff. It's an hour and 7 minutes long, so it's not like feature length. But it was really good. It was very enjoyable. Lots of good jokes. I don't like giving too much of the riffs away because
that's something for them to do. Yeah,
that's the surprising part. That's the fun part. But yeah, so that's Fear.
Woo, Fear.
And now we're going to go on to our VOD that was the winner of this week's listener poll.
I'm so excited.
And, if you saw the poll, if you didn't see the poll, let me remind you what the three choices were. We had Twilight, Ghost House, and Rollergator. And a surprise turn of events. Rollergator dominated this one.
Just killed everything.
I honestly expected nobody to pick Rollergator because of the reputation that it has among a lot of the people in RiffTrax fandom.
And especially in True Blue RiffTrax, the True Blue RiffTrax fans group.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you can't even bring up Rollergator without like angry comments, like angry. But
Rollergator is a favorite of mine and Dave's.
Yes, it's
we love this one.
3. And can't get enough.
So it dominated. It killed it by a very wide margin. I was surprised. I honestly thought it was going to be either Ghost House or Twilight.
Me too. I thought it was going to be Ghost House.
And Rollergator won by a very large margin. It was like 25% at least. Mm-hmm. So, Dave, since I monopolized fear, I'm going to let you take the lead on Rollergator.
So, Rollergator, ladies and gentlemen, is a fantastic riff released in, I believe, in fact, we might be coming up on the 4-year anniversary of it. Let me pull up.
August 21st, 2015.
Yep. So it's it came out of nowhere. I remember there was a Twitter conversation where somebody was tweeting at Connor Listoka in 2015 and said, "Hey, I like all the great high quality production in the movie selection of," like, he didn't say movie selection. That's a term that I use. But like they've been high quality, feature film quality VODs lately. I think like Megaforce had come out or something. And then Connor said, "Wait till next week's because that all goes down the drain." Right? And the next week was Rollergator. And Bill Corbett went onto Twitter because they milked Rollergator. Like they had this big lead up into Fun and Balloon Land about, the Thanksgiving before this in 2014. And they thought, that's it. We've reached the bottom of the barrel. Like, there's nothing there. I mean, like, what could be worse than Fun and Balloon Land? Rollergator is one of those things where it takes a couple of viewings to convince yourself that it actually exists in the real world. Rollergator starts off with this acoustic guitar, right? And it's just like, oh, well, that's going to be a thing that's not going to last. And it has this acoustic guitar noodling playing throughout the entire movie. Now, in the defense of everybody who, and I get it. I get why people don't like Rollergator. I do. Because it's annoying.
Yeah.
I mean, I put it succinctly, it's an annoying effing movie. But I think if you can get past the acoustic guitar that plays nonstop, and I think you would be able to enjoy everything else a lot more. But at the same time, you take away the acoustic guitar, you take away a fundamental element of Rollergator. And you know what? How dare you?
Yeah, without the noodling, it's not the same movie.
It would not be the same. So it starts off in this. We open up in this carnival that looks like it could be this was shot in the 90s. It looks like it could be a Pirates World affiliate in California or Florida. We haven't determined where this thing is. It's got to be in one of the tropical states. So it's got to be either Florida or California. There's no other place this could be. Jeremy and I were having a debate. Feel free to discuss amongst yourselves out there in the podcast land whether I say it's in California because that's where Joe Estevez lives. And there's no way they're going to fly Joe Estevez out to Florida to star in Rollergator, for crying out loud. Jeremy, you tell them why you think it's in Florida.
Well, I think it's in Florida because it's an alligator, and that's where alligators are in Florida. It's a much simpler explanation for why I think it's there.
Okay, is that it?
But that's it. I mean, there's palm trees, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in some random. You know what it is? It looks like one of those little fairs that shows up like in the parking lot of a local like shopping center, like like one of those little strip malls, and they have those fairs that show. Well, they used to, but it would like pop up for a couple days, and then they're off to the next city, and that's very much what this is. It's that same type of thing. But yeah, we have no idea where this is exactly supposed to be taking place, unless they actually say it somewhere in the movie and we just don't get it. Like the fact that neither of us knew what Joe Estevez's character's name was.
Yeah, no, it's Uncle Chico.
Yeah, now we know that.
Yeah, it's because Chico Dennis. Yeah, we had to look it up. But anyway, we're in Uncle Chico's carnival. And we're following the main protagonist, PJ, around. She's kind of wandering around, like, oh, yeah, cool. Hey, look, it's a carnival. And then we cut to Joe Estevez acting like a now, as far as I'm concerned, this is the definitive Joe Estevez experience, okay? Like, Soul Taker, forget about it. Werewolf, forget about it. No. Like, his performance in this movie is just like... It defines Joe Estevez's career, Rollergator, I think.
Poor Joe Estevez.
Yeah, and Joe Estevez has the first line of the movie, which is Jeremy. We were having a discussion about the iconic first line of Rollergator. Yep. I think it goes like this. So anyway, so we have that iconic first line from Joe Estevez, right? Like, what? Oh, okay, I guess we're moving on. Right, and then we cut from. So looking back on it, what I think was happening was Joe Estevez and his and Reggie, his nephew, they were out looking for Rollergator, right? But or Gator, as they call it, Baby Gator, Little Gator. I think they just. I don't even know if he really even has a proper name, the Gator. I think he's just Gator. Yeah. But so they cut to PJ, the protagonist, in this not very. I mean, I don't mean to body shame anybody, but I don't know if this movie should really be featuring women in bikinis because it just looks so skeevy. That just like, oh my gosh, like this is so uncomfortable to look at.
Well, my first thought was, is this girl old enough for us to be watching her going around in a bikini?
Yeah, well, I think she is.
Am I gonna end up on some sort of watch list if I watch this movie?
Yeah, it's like if I have this on my hard drive, is the FBI gonna be? Yeah. Anyway, and then you have the Rollergator, the purple puppet, boing. Sproing up to the boner sound effect, right? And then she'd be like, "Oh, like you're a little purple gator, but you can talk," and that's like the extent of her like amazement at it. And so they talk about like, "Okay, can you please help me get away from this carnival, even though it looks like I've already escaped, and help me get back to the swamp?" Okay, we'll do that. Right. So, but he's being chased by the Dark Ninja, who is just like this other woman who is just running around very, very visibly on the beach in Dark Ninja clothes. And it's got to be hot as hell underneath there. I mean, she's very obvious. She does a very terrible job at hiding. And so I guess they have a run-in with her, and they get away on PJ's rollerblades. Now, it's never mentioned that PJ is a rollerblader or into rollerblading, even though the whole movie hinges on this, that he's a rollergator, but he's not really a rollergator. I mean, we call him Rollergator, but he's got really nothing to do with Rollergator. PJ's is the rollerblader. Yeah. Like, so, like, Rollergator never puts on roller skate. I mean, he can't. He's a puppet, obviously, but
right.
It's
well, he in the original, like, I'm putting this in air quotes, artwork for the movie.
Wait, that exists?
Yeah, he's on a skateboard but that's it.
Send that to me. Oh, I need that in my life now. Anyway, so what does PJ do except take him back to Joe Estevez's carnival? And that's never addressed why she did that.
Does she live there?
I think she might have lived adjacent to it, and maybe they had to walk through it to get back to her apartment. But they got to get back to the swamp. And they get tricked by Reggie into going to Joe Estevez's office, and they have this big thing, and they escape. They go to her apartment, and they do these terrible impressions. And I guess the next day they continue their journey where they meet up with a pointless second female ninja. This one's a Taekwondo instructor, and they teach PJ some karate moves, and then they part ways. And then they are being chased by the Dark Ninja through this cement canal. And they meet this other girl. But first, before that happens, they steal a woman's stroller from her baby. It's very odd. Like, that is a very, very odd artistic decision. And it shows that Rollergator can jump very high. And wait, what? Like, what just happened?
Spring loaded.
Yeah. And lands right into the stroller, which they don't need. Like, look, PJ, you were going much faster without the stroller.
Yeah,
it's weird. And then they just abandon it. It's like, okay, you got 50 whole feet and stealing that mother's and her child's stroller. Like, good for you. And they meet another character named Slingshot, who is basically just who has been stalking, I guess, this whole situation from the get-go. And she comes out being like, hey, can I be your friend? Right? So they're like, sure, why not? Right? But Slingshot is kind of like the smartest one in the entire movie.
Which is kind of sad.
Yeah. So Slingshot goes to distract the Dark Ninja, who was disguised as this other woman who I'm just going to guess was the Dark Ninja without her costume on. I mean, the actress.
Yeah.
And whatever you do, don't give this backpack that has Rollergator in it give it to the Dark Ninja. And Slingshot ends up doing that. But it has something else in it. I forget it, but I think it was like lettuce or something that was actually in. It's some kind of surprise thing that's in the backpack. And what the Dark Ninja is doing is trying to take Rollergator back to Joe Estevez, obviously. And and while all this is going on, there's my favorite character in the whole thing, the Swamp Farmer, also known as Beauregard, as his friends call him. This guy is like this vagabond that lives in the swamp, and the swamp is being developed by evil developer. I really hate that trope, the anti-development trope. Like, building things is bad and horrible, and just like, you know what? I don't care. It's like, I want a Walmart, okay? So if that swamp's got to go, swamp's got to go. So you're
drain the swamp.
Yeah.
Drain the swamp.
Oh crap! I didn't mean it to sound like that. But you're not going to get any sympathy out of me for like especially if homeless bums like that live in the swamp. Okay. So he's going around lamenting that somehow Rollergator got away from him. And then we cut back, and there's this big final showdown between PJ, Slingshot, the Dark Ninja, and then the other second female ninja shows up and chases the Dark Ninja away. And that's the whole end of the Dark Ninja saga, right? It's just these two women just chasing each other away with nunchucks down this service road.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, it's like, okay, see you later, bye. Then the Swamp Farmer just happens to stumble onto PJ and Slingshot, and PJ just hands Rollergator over, and the movie's over. And then there's this supposedly funny coda with Joe Estevez turning into a bigger version of Rollergator and eating the head of his nephew or something. I'm pretty sure he didn't die. That'd be a little too dark, even for Rollergator.
Yeah.
But anyway, the most I think what the technical aspects of this movie, or the lack of the technical aspects of this movie, is this movie's true legacy. I mean, yeah, there's the acoustic guitar noodling. Yes, there's a stupid, nonsensical plot. Yes, there's the dumb puppet, the dumb dialogue, all that stuff. Okay, we can make fun of Joe Estevez all day long, but the fact is the man is a movie star.
Yeah.
Okay. They were able to get Joe Estevez, and it looks like that this movie was shot with a VHS camcorder.
Yes.
And there were no lights in this movie. There were no microphones used for this movie. I mean, no professional microphones. I guess I should put that caveat on there. Obviously, there was some microphones. Sound was captured, but not professionally.
Better than Birdemic.
Yeah, that is true. Oh, remind me, before we go off the air tonight, I want to tell everybody about this other short that was made by James White. I mean, like the camera obviously is not a professional camera either, because this was the best print that there is of this movie that exists that we know of. And what is it? I mean, even for a B movie shot on the super cheap in 1995 or 96, it should look better than this. And it doesn't.
No, this was literally done with a camcorder. This was shot on video on a camcorder.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it was shot on videotape.
Yes, yeah, I'm fairly certain it actually was.
Yeah, it's because it has the tracking, it has all that. It has like all the marks of. I mean, if you're as old as we are, you kind of know what something that looks like it was shot on videotape looks like, and this is it. Okay, so you have all that. But going back to, and I always like to talk about charm and movie selection, this was an amazing find. I mean, I'm amazed that that I had never heard of this before RiffTrax. I mean, I don't think anybody had. And it's just like you see it and you're just like, how come? I mean, it became an instant cornerstone for RiffTrax, I think, honestly. I mean, a lot of people say instant classic. This was instant classic. Rollergator was.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I've seen it, no joke, probably about 40 times, and I never get sick of it, ever. What about you?
I love this riff, and much like Dave, I had never heard of this movie before, but I was familiar with the director. And this does actually kind of tie into Rollergator in a very weird way. There is a scene in Rollergator with Joe Estevez where he's talking to a giant mutant frog person. And for most people, you're not going to understand that. It's just this really weird, like, okay, what the hell was that now? That's another layer of weirdness added into this movie. But this is why I know the frog creature, because I actually saw the movie that the frog creature was from before. There's a little movie that Donald G. Jackson also directed, and it's called Hell Comes to Frogtown.
No.
Film, yes, starring the late Rowdy Roddy Piper.
What?
And it's a post-apocalyptic movie where these people are dealing with mutant frog people. There was actually a sequel called Frogtown 2. But this movie, Rollergator, is basically a culmination of most of the things that this director had done. He made the two Frogtown movies. Then he made a whole series of movies about rollerblading. There's Rollerblade Warriors Taken by Force, the Rollerblade 7, Legend of the Rollerblade 7, Return of the Rollerblade 7, and then he made Rollergator. Oh, no, and then there's also Toad Warrior. Sorry, thrown in there, too.
Toad Warrior!
and then Rollergator. So it's kind of all of that stuff, all of the ideas of that, I guess, thrown into here.
It's amazing to me that Rollergator is the culmination of many things.
Right? It doesn't seem like it would be the culmination of anything.
It seems like it would be somebody's first move. I mean, like, look, me and my brother in the year 1995 could have gone out with our parents' camcorder and made Rollergator. We could have done that. We may not have been able to get Joe Estevez, but we could have made Rollergator.
Oh, yeah. Just go to the local fair when it shows up in the parking lot, and you're good to go.
All you got to do.
It's such a fun riff. And like you said, I can totally understand why some people have a hard time making it through this one.
Rollergator, how I love thee. Let me count the ways.
It's such a good riff. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it. But it's one that I don't get to watch very often because my wife can't stand it.
Well, I don't have a wife, so I can watch whatever I please. So at the end of the day, A++. I mean, it just doesn't get better than Rollergator.
Yes. It was very good indeed. It even has a wonderful little scene where Baby Gator decides to rap.
Oh God. Do we have to talk about that?
No, because I'm going to insert the audio right now.
Well, what about me?
Well, you're cool and everything, PJ. It's just that you don't have that hip-hop beat.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking Gator rap, baby.
I think you've inhaled too much swamp water there, little buddy. Your brain is drowning.
Dig this. You've hardly any faith. Boom, shh, boom, 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 shh, boom, shh, boom, 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 shh. Well, I'm a mean motor gator, a rock and roller skater. Try to catch me now, I'll kick your butt later. Yeah.
What is that?
Yo, what's up with that? It's Gator rap. I live in the swamp, but I'm no Forrest Gump. I'm gonna be illin' if I'm not chillin'.
So there you go. That's Baby Gator's rap. I do not apologize for putting that in here. Yeah, I love this riff. Like Dave said, instant classic. If you haven't seen it yet, really, you owe it to yourself to at least watch it one time. At least one time.
That way you can say, I watched Rollergator. Now I'm going to complain about it for the rest of my life.
And Dave, you wanted to talk about something else.
Yes, I found something. Now, all of you out there listening to this podcast, you might be familiar with the little director known as James Wen. He did Birdemic, he did Julian Jack, he did Replica. He's been having trouble getting more feature films financed than made. Can't imagine why, because he's a big jerk. But he did a short film about, I think it was called like The Man with the Wooden Face. And it's about this dude with this huge noggin because of Agent Orange in Vietnam or some crap like that. Anyway, he did a documentary about that guy. He went and he exploited this guy that he knows in Vietnam. And so he did that. He did one short. Now he has a new short, and I want everybody to go to the website for this short. It's called CosmicBeauty.space. It's James Wen's new short, and it's going to be premiering. It's the description for it. The world premiere of Cosmic Beauty will be on August 30th, 2019, for the world to see and qualify for consideration for the 92nd Academy Awards. Special thanks to astronomer Nelson Ortega for providing this magnificently beautiful image of the Rose Laguna Nebula, right? And it shows some red nebula. Go to cosmicbeauty.space or go to movieheadpictures.com to get all the details about this wonderful man's new movie. I'm all for James Wen being able to make new movies because that's going to give me more material for me to parody. And I'm just going to leave it at that.
And that is going to wrap it up for us this week, folks. We're going to have a new listener poll up on Friday, and it's going to include the two losers from last week.
These two losers.
Ghost House and Twilight. And then we are going to be adding the RiffTrax live show Miami Connection. So hopefully, you know, I don't know. I don't think I could be surprised now at this point with this poll, because it's either going to be Ghost House, which is a great riff, Twilight, which is another great riff, or Miami Connection, which is another great riff.
It seems like we're setting ourselves up to watch the ones that we want to watch.
Huh. Yeah, it kind of seems that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. So make sure you vote on that when it comes up. It will pop up on the True Blue RiffTrax fan page on Facebook. It'll pop up in the RiffTrax group in Facebook, and it'll also pop up on the True Blue Riffcast Twitter account. And I am Jeremy. You can find me at pbandawesome.com. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at pbandawesome. And as I mentioned, you can follow the True Blue Riffcast on Twitter at tbriffcast.
I'm Dave. You can check me out on the web at sugarraydodge.com. You can search for me on Facebook under either Sugar Ray Dodge or Charlie B, which I wrestle locally as Charlie B. I'm a B-man. Buzz. It's hilarious. And yeah, that's what I got.
Don't forget, RiffTrax Live, Giant Spider Invasion, August 15th.
Woo!
We'll see you guys later.
See ya.